Listen, if every relationship in your life starts differently but ends the same, that's not coincidence. Different face, different voice, same emotional damage. You swear this time is different. You always do. And for a while, you believe it. Until you're back there, overthinking, doubting yourself, feeling small. And you start thinking, maybe I just attract the wrong people. No, you attract what feels familiar. And your brain is very loyal to familiar. Part 1. Your nervous system decides before you do. When you're attracted to someone, you think you're choosing. You think it's about their personality, their energy, the way they make you feel. But here's what actually happens. Within seconds of meeting someone, your nervous system decides whether they fit. And it's not looking for what's best for you. It's looking for what feels familiar. Not safety, familiarity. And familiar doesn't mean healthy. It just means known. If you grew up around instability, love that felt warm one day and cold the next, having to guess how someone felt, your brain got used to that. It learned that this is what normal feels like. So when you meet someone who's intense at first, then distant, who makes you feel a rush, then makes you doubt yourself, something inside you says, I know this. And that feeling can feel like chemistry, but a lot of the time, it's just an old pattern playing again. Part 2. Attachment is emotional memory. This might feel uncomfortable to hear, but your brain isn't looking for love. It's looking for what it recognizes. Every relationship you've had left a mark, not just memories, emotional imprints. And those imprints are wired through a powerful team inside your brain, the amygdala, the part that scans for threat, the hippocampus, the part that stores emotional memories, the prefrontal cortex, the part that tries to make sense of everything. When you meet someone new who makes you feel something similar to your past, those areas start communicating, and your brain doesn't say, this might hurt you. It says, I've been here before. And what you've been through before can feel like home, even if that home was chaotic, even if love came with conditions, even if you had to overperform just to feel chosen. To your nervous system, predictable equals survival, not happiness, survival. And the most predictable thing? The pattern you already know. Part 3. Why calm can feel wrong. Let's be honest. If you're used to intense relationships, mixed signals, come here one day, I need space the next, butterflies that feel almost like anxiety, your brain adapted to those emotional spikes. Your dopamine system got used to highs. Dopamine is the chemical that drives craving and motivation, and dopamine loves uncertainty. When something is unpredictable, dopamine rises, and when dopamine rises, you want more. That's why hot and cold behavior feels addictive, not because it's healthy, because it's stimulating. So when someone shows up calm, consistent, emotionally stable, your dopamine doesn't spike, it regulates. And if your nervous system is used to chaos, regulation can feel boring. You might say, there's no spark. But sometimes what you call spark is just your amygdala activating. The amygdala is the part of your brain that reacts to emotional intensity and potential threat. That rush you feel, it can be anxiety, not compatibility. Your brain learned that love equals activation. So when something feels peaceful, your body doesn't recognize it as love. It recognizes it as... Part 4. Repetition compulsion. What if you're not attracted to them, but to an unfinished story from your past? There's a psychological phenomenon called repetition compulsion. In simple terms, it means we unconsciously recreate old emotional scenarios, hoping that this time we'll fix them. If you once felt not chosen, your attachment system may be drawn to people who are hard to secure. If you once felt emotionally unseen, you may pursue partners who are emotionally unavailable. Not because you enjoy pain, but because your nervous system is trying to repair the past. Somewhere inside, there's a belief: if I can make this person stay, I finally heal the old wound. But the brain doesn't work that way. You can't build a new neural pathway by walking the same old one. Healing begins when you recognize the pattern, not when you repeat it. Part 5. The role of self-concept. You don't just choose who you love. You choose what you believe you deserve. Your brain filters partners through your identity. If deep down you believe, "I have to earn love," you'll feel drawn to people who make you earn it. If somewhere inside you believe, "I'm not enough," your brain, through confirmation bias, will look for evidence that supports that belief. Confirmation bias means your mind prefers information that confirms what you already think is true. The brain prefers consistency, even if that consistency hurts you. For the brain, being right feels safer than changing the story. Part 6. Why awareness changes everything. The moment you see the pattern starts losing power. Attraction patterns are learned through repetition. That means they're built through neural connections, pathways between neurons that strengthened over time. But the brain has something called neuroplasticity, which means it can rewire. When you say, "This feels familiar, but not necessarily healthy," your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, starts stepping in. You're no longer reacting only from the amygdala, the part that responds to emotional intensity and perceived threat. You begin choosing consciously. Instead of asking, "Why do I feel sparks?" you ask, "How does my body feel around this person? Calm, safe, or tense and restless?" Your nervous system always tells the truth. You just have to learn how to listen. Part 7. Rewriting the pattern. You don't change what you attract. You change what you tolerate. When you consistently choose emotionally stable partners, your brain begins forming new neural pathways. Your dopaminergic system, the system that uses dopamine, the chemical linked to motivation and reward, starts adapting. If dopamine used to spike in chaos and unpredictability, it can begin activating instability. Your attachment system recalibrates. Calm becomes normal. Consistency becomes attractive. Emotional safety becomes intense in a new way. Rewiring isn't instant, but it is biological, and biology responds to repetition.